Hey guys, Sean here. Today what I want to do is a SPFBO 7 reaction video. The finalists, all 10 finalists have been announced. The final couple were announced yesterday as I'm filming this. I'm filming this on November 1st. It's probably not going up. It's probably going up, I don't know, by the weekend. But I said earlier this year when I was making book content semi-regularly that I wanted to read the finalists of SPFBO 7 this year, and that has not changed. I still want to read all 10 finalists by mid-April before the winner is announced, because I'd like to do a prediction video, a wrap-up and prediction video as well. I wanted to do that last year, and I wasn't reading. I'm still struggling to get back to reading. I'm getting into nonfiction right now, and that's helping. But like I said, all 10 have been announced. I have already read one of them, so I have 9 to read. 2 of them I can get on audio. So what I want to do is I'm going to go through. I have them all pulled up here on Amazon, and what I'm going to do is, this is more a let's go through them together and find out what they're about kind of video. So I just kind of want to highlight them and see what sounds the most interesting to me as well. So let's get into it. These are not, well, they might be in there because I had the first couple, I had the first few on my list as they were announced, and the rest I took off of Mark Lawrence's graphic. So they might be in the order in which they were announced. I'm not sure. But first up, we have We Men of Ash and Shadow, The Vanguard Chronicles, Book 1 by H.L. Tinsley. And the description says, amidst the gas lamp shadows, former soldier turned mercenary John Vanguard hunts criminals at the behest of his corrupt employer, Captain Felix Sanquain. Shamed by his deserter past and seeking to make amends for his many misdeeds, a chance encounter with Taryn Learsack, a skilled young would-be assassin fallen from the graces of high society, leads Vanguard to become an unlikely mentor. Charged with hunting down the killer of 2 guards left washed up on the banks of the canal, the further Vanguard delves into the underbelly of the city, the more he finds himself entangled in a web of secrets and lies. A prominent aristocrat is missing. Crime lords, conmen, and harriets run amok, and the city teeters on the brink of another revolution. With his already precarious reputation hanging by a thread, Vanguard must piece together how and why the last war came to pass, find a way to earn redemption for his mistakes, and come to terms with the past in a city where few survive and even fewer can be trusted. I think this is a Gaslight fantasy too. I'll have the cover up, and the cover looks very, very much like a Gaslight fantasy cover. But that sounds really good, and I actually have started this one. I actually started this one when it was first announced as a finalist, but I was struggling with reading, so I only got about 25 pages into it. I have really enjoyed what I have read of it. I actually restarted it last night. And again, I really was digging it. I read the first 2 chapters, or first chapter? I don't remember. First chapter or 2 first 2 chapters last night, I think. And really digging it. I'm really into this one so far. Next is Nordiska Groans by Michael R. Fletcher and Clayton W. Snyder. The description is Nordiska groans. With the weight of her crimes, I will have the cover up here because I'm pronouncing that wrong. With the weight of her crimes in a city where winter reigns amid the fires of industry and war, soot and snow conspire to conceal centuries of death and deception. Nordiska groans, and the weight of a leaden sky threatens to crush her people. Katiusha Leonova Desperate to restore her family name, takes a job with Nordiska's brutal police force. To support his family, Gendy Antonov finds bloody work with a local crime syndicate. Nordiska groans. With the weight of her dead, as bodies fall, the two discover a foul truth hidden beneath layers of deception and violence. Come to thaw, what was buried will be revealed. That sounds pretty good. I know this is more on the because Michael Fletcher tends to be more on the grimdark side of things. I know this is going to be a heavier, darker book. I've heard good things. I've seen good things being said about it on Twitter. So I haven't read any Michael R. Fletcher, so I'm kind of excited to dig into this. Next is Legacy of the Brightwash, Tainted Dominion, Book 1. And this actually is the finalist. There's one booktuber in the judging panel that is Becky M. I will link her channel below. She puts out great content, so go check her out if you're not already subscribed. But she is a judge. Kitty G was doing it for several years, and Kitty couldn't do it this year. And so Becky is kind of filling that booktuber space in the judging panel. And this was her finalist. Follow the law and you'll stay safe. But what if the law is wrong? Tashue's faith in the law is beginning to crack. 3 years ago, he stood by when the authority condemned Jason to the brutality of the rift for noncompliance. When Tashue's son refused to register as tainted, the laws had to be upheld. He'd never doubted his job as a regulation officer before, but 3 years of watching your son wither away can break down even the strongest convictions. Then a dead girl washed up on the bank of the Brightwash, tattooed and mutilated. Where had she come from? Who would tattoo a child? Was it the same person who killed her? Why was he the only one who cared? Will Tashue be able to stand against everything he thought he believed in to get the answers he's looking for? One of the reviews here says it's a cinematic gaslamp fantasy. So looks like there's definitely one, possibly two gaslight fantasies included in this, and that to me is really cool. I'm really interested in gaslight fantasy. It's kind of Dickensian vibe to stuff. But yeah, this sounds like it said gaslamp fantasy, and it also sounds like a fantasy mystery. It sounds really, really intriguing. I'm excited to get. I think this is one of the longer ones too. This one's 664 pages. So I'm looking forward to this one. This might be high up in my priority reading order. Next is Burn Red Sky. Did I say who? I don't think I said who. No, Legacy of the Brightwash is by Crystal Maddar, in case I didn't say that. I'm sure I've had the cover up here too. Next is Burn Red Skies by Kirsten Espinoza Rosero. It starts with a rift that burns 1,000 scars into the city. It makes the wind stop. It makes the stars go dark. It awakens an ancient beast, and with it, a new rain of blood. It is the summoning, and at the heart of it is fire. When the summoner's army blasts through her village, Dove is forced into hiding. Torn from everything she knows, she begins training in the elements with only one goal in mind: to find her brother. She just needs to get past the summoner's army. But how can she slay a dragon that is already dead? That one sounds kind of interesting. I don't know if it's one I would jump to if I wasn't planning to read all the finalists, but that's kind of what's exciting about reading all the finalists is I'm going to pick up ones that I might not normally pick up. Like just reading that description, I would probably pick up something else I was more excited about. But it's a finalist for the SPFBO, so it's made it through 30 books already in a judging group. So yeah, this one could surprise me, and I might like it more than I think I will. And it already sounds like something I might like. I just don't know, like I said, I don't know if it's one I would just automatically pick up just after reading the description. Next is Shadows of Ivory. This is another dual author one. There's 2 dual author books in the finalists this year, the Nordiska Groans and this one. And this is by T.L. Greylock and Bryce O'Connor. I burned cities and drowned mountains. I pulled stars from the night sky and scorched the world with their flames. I am the Fisher King, and the grave does not bind me. An academic with a taste for adventure, Eska de Caraval has means and influence, wit and charm, and a knack for acquiring artifacts that may not be hers to claim. But when Eska comes into possession of a strange disc of rune-covered bronze, she finds herself abruptly hunted by all manner of adversaries, an assassin in the shadows, a monster in the deep, a bitter rival burning with vengeance. From sword and fang and flame, Eska must defend herself, struggling all the while to unravel the mysteries of a dangerous artifact. An artifact so powerful, a dead tyrant will rise again to wield it. Now that definitely sounds like something I would pick up just on description alone. The cover is fantastic too, if you're seeing the cover up here. Most of these covers are just fantastic. Yeah, that definitely sounds like something I'm interested in. And that's probably going to go higher up on the priority list. Next is the one I have already read. So far, all of these are available on Kindle Unlimited too. I'll let you know if one is not, but if I unless I say it is not, all of these are available on Kindle Unlimited if you're a Kindle Unlimited subscriber. So this is The Iron Crown by L.L. McRae, book 1 of the Dragon Spirits. I have already read and reviewed this book. I was an ARC reader for it. I loved this book. I'm just going to read the description because I struggled to describe it. I will try to link the My Week in Books video where I talked about this below. I'm super excited for L.L. McRae because I've read her books before. I read her book Marota and I loved that. And she actually messaged me because in that video I said I think this could be a finalist. I would be shocked if it wasn't a semifinalist, and was definitely a semifinalist and now a finalist. So everything I've said about it so far has been right. And when it became a semifinalist, I actually got a message from L.L. McRae telling me that my prediction came true because I hadn't seen the news yet. And thanking me for my support of her, and really nice message. And I'm super excited for her. So Fenn's first and only memory is finding himself in the middle of a forest, face to face with a dragon spirit mocking him. All knowledge gone apart from his own name. I haven't filmed in a while, so I haven't talked this much in a while. I just filmed a video before this. My voice is already starting to go, and I want to do a film video or two after I finish this one. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of bulk recording. And I don't know how long my voice is going to hold out. Anyway, lost and confused, his only hope for answers is Kalidra, a woman living on the edge of the world with her partner. Forced to return home when her father dies, Kalidra has put off facing her estranged mother for 7 years, and she begrudgingly helps Sven, forging papers for him so he can avoid the Queen's Inquisitors. But her mother is the least of her worries when they discover an ancient enemy is rising again. It should be impossible with the Iron Crown in power, and Fen is terrified he might unwittingly be playing a part in the war's resurgence. Surrounded by vengeful spirits and powerful magic, Fen's desperate attempt to find his way home might well alter the fate of Tassar and every power in it. Again, like I said, I've read this. I loved this. I'm anxiously awaiting book 2. So that is The Iron Crown by L.L. McRae. Next is Hall of Bones by Tim Hardy. Excuse me. In the remote land of Lascar, the 7 ruling clans have vied with each other for power over a century. The son of the Reevesburg clan chief, Hrothgar, has been groomed all his life for a role supporting his elder brother Yorick in leading their kingdom when their father's time finally comes to an end. However, the rulers of their greatest rivals, the Vorond clan, are in the grip of something older and far darker. They have been conquered by evil, a remnant from the time when the gods warred with one another and the world of Amaron collapsed into the Fallen Age. Everything is about to change. The first book in the Brotherhood of the Eagle series, Hall of Bones, begins a tale of epic fantasy, magic, and intrigue. And this definitely sounds right up my alley, fantasy-wise. Um, I'm looking forward to getting to that one. That's Hall of Bones by Tim Hardy. Next is Reign and Ruin, Mages of the Wheel, Book 1 by J.D. Evans. She is heir to a sultanate that once ruled the world. He is an unwanted prince with the power to destroy. She is order and intellect, a woman fit to rule in a man's place. He is chaos and violence, and will stop at nothing to protect his people. I feel like I already see where this is going. His magic answers hers with shadow for light. They need each other, but the cost of balance may be too high a price. Magic is dying, and the only way to save it is to enlist mages who wield the forbidden power of death. Mages cast out centuries ago in a brutal and bloody war. Now a new war is coming. Science and machines to replace magic and old religion. They must find a way to save their people from annihilation and balance the sacred wheel. But first, they will have to balance their own forbidden passion. His peace for her tempest, his restlessness for her calm. Night and day, dusk and dawn, the end and the beginning. Again, this is not one I think I would normally just pick up by reading the description. I'm interested in it. It started to sound like it was going to go down the possible enemies to lovers trope there, but then it doesn't mention anything in the description about a possible romance. So maybe that's not the case. But those first couple sentences led me to think that, and I'm not a big romance person. I don't mind it in there. I don't tend to go for the, like, I don't tend to go for that if it's in the description, if it's, I'm saying this badly, but it's not something I tend to pick up. If a description includes a lot of, especially in a fantasy novel, looking like enemies to lovers or even friends to lovers in the description, it's not one I tend to, I'll pick up other things first until I hear more about those books. But like I said, it sounded like it might be leading down that road. But I don't know. There's a quote from the book on the top, too, that I didn't read. It says, "All magic is beautiful and terrible. Do you not see the beauty in yours or the terror in mine? You can stop a heart, and I can stop your breath." Again, that could go either way. So we'll see. I'm going to read it, but we'll see if my initial thoughts about it are right. Next, we have The Forever King, The Skalusin Chronicles, Book 1. This is by Ben Galley. I think it looks like Galley. It might be Gailey. It looks like Galley. I've never heard it pronounced. In Emaneska, to consort with magic is to court death. Banned by the Arca Empire, magic's purging has finally brought peace to a war-torn land. Like any dutiful citizen, Mithrid Fen wants nothing to do with magic. But when an illegal spellbook washes up on a beach after a battle between giant, unknown ships, Mithrid Fen is thrust into a war she never knew existed. Her family slaughtered, Mithrid finds herself hunted by demons and the Emperor's assassins. She is dragged inexorably north to Skalusin, where mages, dragons, beast people, and witches doggedly wage a war for freedom against the tyrannical empire. But Mithrid only cares for revenge and nothing nobler. If killing the Emperor means helping the outlaw king, then so be it, even if it means drowning the world in fire. This is what I'm really excited about. I've been wanting to check out Ben Galley for several years. I actually did start this. This book is the start of a new series in his Emaneska world. But from what I've seen, and I read some of the reviews from the blog that picked this book, you don't need to have read the prior books in the Emaneska world to get this one or enjoy it. That was one of the reviewers said that they were worried that they would be lost or feel like they were missing out on insider info, and they never felt like that. So they said you really can just dive right into this without reading the prior books. Probably the case with anything like that. If you've read the prior books, you'll probably get a little bit more out of it. And I did start reading The Written, which is the first book in his Emaneska series, earlier this year. I was really enjoying it, but again, I've been struggling to get back to reading. So I got probably 65, 70 pages in and picked up something else and never went back to it. But I was really enjoying it. So I'm excited to, I am, this is top tier of the list for me to get to. And finally, we have The Mortal Blade, an epic fantasy adventure, The Magelands Eternal Siege, Book 1. A city ruled by gods, a mortal champion, a misfit girl, and a disobedient dragon. Stolen from his home, Korthi Holdfast has arrived in the city of the Eternal Siege as a new champion. He must fight alongside the Blades, whose lives are dedicated to the defense of the city against the hordes of monstrous greenhides, or die at the hands of the gods who rule. Maddie Jackdaw, a young Blade, faces her last chance. Thrown out of every unit defending the city, either she takes on a new role, or she will be sent to the rats, a company of misfits given the perilous task beyond the Great Walls. Her new role, if she takes it, will bring her face to face with her deepest fears, for beneath the walls, in a secret and hidden lair, lies a dragon, imprisoned and waiting. That sounds pretty good. This is one I actually looked at when the initial list of 300 came out. I actually had put it on my Kindle. I actually had borrowed it from Kindle Unlimited, and then I returned it because I just wasn't getting to it and wasn't reading like I wanted to. So I returned it, and I said, well, then it became a semifinalist. And okay, well, maybe I was right to check that one out. Maybe I'll go back to it sometime. And now it's a finalist, and if I hold to my wanting to read the SPFBO 7 finalists, I've got November, December, January, February, March, April. End of April is when the winner's announced. So roughly 5.5 months to read all 10 finalists, roughly 2 books a month. I should be able to handle that. This is one that I can get on audio too. I may have already checked out the audio on Hoopla. What was the other one that I can get on Hoopla? Shadows of Ivory I can get on Hoopla too, which I think I've already checked out on Hoopla because I wanted to try and use up my borrows before the month end. But yeah, that is the finalists that is the 10 finalists for SPFBO 7. Like I said, my plan is to read the 9 I haven't read, and hopefully talk about them before a winner is announced. There's never a date that a winner, I don't think there's ever really a date that a winner announced. It's just whenever the last judge puts in their ratings, Mark Lawrence announces the winner. So I want to try and get them read by mid-April. So around mid-April, I can do a winner prediction video, and then a reaction video once the winner is announced. So that is it. Let me know in the comments, are you reading along with SPFBO? Do any of these books sound exciting to you? It was a goal of mine this year to read more self-published fantasy. I kind of rethought my goals this year around my birthday. I'm now doing, and I might do it. I'm still kind of reworking them a little bit, so I might do a video on my reading goals. But what I'm doing now is, instead of taking a year from January to December and looking at that as my year of reading goals, I'm looking at, I turned 44 on September 29th. So what I'm looking at now is what do I want to have read what kind of progress in the different pools of books that I want to read, or different series, different books from different awards, do I want to have made progress in and have read by the time I turn 45. So I'm now looking at goals as by year of life rather than calendar year. And I'm doing that with stitching and movies as well. So I'm actually gonna film one about my movie goals right after I film this, to try and get some film content going. I really want to get the film content. I changed my name. I called myself Lost in Books, Film and Floss, and I'm not getting the movie I haven't gotten the film content on the ground, largely because I think I'm a little bit intimidated and feel like I can't talk about movies the way other people I see talking about movies talk about movies, and it intimidates me a little bit, but I got to get over that and just put the content out there. Anyway, like I said, let me know in the comments if you're planning to read along with SPFBO 7, read the finalists, or any of the finalists, or one or two of the finalists. Let me know which of these sound good to you. Let's have a conversation about it. Thank you to all my subscribers. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, I hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like, and if you did, hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe. It really does help the channel, helps the visibility of the channel. Hit the bell notification so you know when I post new videos, and I'll see you all in the next one.